Namo Namaha, Bhavtam Sarvesham Hardam Swagatam. Welcome back to my channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I'm also good. And as we discussed in the last video, through this video and the couple of ones that are coming now, we are going to quickly touch up on the most fundamental part of Sanskrit, the basic grammar things that you need to be aware of before we begin our actual journey of learning Sanskrit through Gita and other Sanskrit texts. So these are the most basic fundamental blocks. Now, if I ask you, what is the most basic fundamental block for a language? Any language, not just Sanskrit. So the answer might be the letters. The letters, the akshar. Those are the most basic part of the language because they combine and they form a word. Then those words combine and they form a sentence. And then through that sentences, you have a whole literature coming out of them. So in this video, we are going to start with those letters. Now, Sanskrit language derives its letter from Devanagiri script. Many other languages like Hindi, Marathi, Nepali, all these languages, they use Devanagari script only. That how you write the letters, the vowels, the consonants and everything. And Sanskrit also picks up from Devanagari script. So a lot of you might already be aware of these vowels and consonants, but still it will be a good idea to sit through this video because I will be clearing out some very common confusions regarding few of the letters, and then we are going to see a very interesting topic that is known as varna viccheda. That means you take a word and then you split it into its individual letters. So suppose I give you a bit complex word like Yudhishthir, and if I ask you that split this word into its individual letters, you should not have any problem doing that. And once that is clear, then even the big complex words of Sanskrit you can very easily pronounce because the logic is in place now and you can pronounce any of those words. So, okay, enough of the talking. Let's begin with our video today. So, as you can see on my screen, we have a table, a file that I've already prepared, and this file will be available for download in case you need it for your reference. So, this is vowels, consonants, and then a bit more. Let's begin with vowel. As in English, we have vowels. In Sanskrit, we have swara. We call them swar. So let's start with this one. A. Then you have E, U, R, L. Now this particular vowel, this might be new to a lot of you. And frankly speaking, this vowel is very rarely used in Sanskrit practical text. It is used, but very rarely. And this particular vowel, this is very commonly mispronounced as ri or just simple ra, but it is neither ri nor ra. So if I use a word, suppose I have a word that uses this vowel, kripa. Now this word, if you break it, it uses ka, then it uses this vowel ri, then it has pa. So this vowel is neither pronounced as ri. You don't say kripa, nor it is pronounced as ra. You don't say krapa. It is pronounced like r, like a bit of a roll of a tongue. You need to roll out your tongue. Kripa. So this is how this ri is pronounced. Okay, we'll move forward. Then you have long form of these vowels like dirghaswara. So these are short form, right? A, I, U. And then you have the long forms a, e, u, similar to double a. So you have single a and then you have double a. So it is equivalent to that. So a, e, u, r. This is. And then you have four extra vowels that are a, I, o, au. Okay. And this entire set is all the vowels that we have in Sanskrit. Okay, so far so good. Let's move forward. Then consonants. Now before I start with consonant, I will tell you this, that in Sanskrit you have two major categorization for a consonant, that is vyanjan. In Sanskrit it is called vyanjan. Few of the consonants, actually most of the consonants, they are grouped and they are called as grouped consonant. Why they are called grouped consonant? Because those consonants belong to a certain group, certain varg. The varg word is equivalent to group. So those consonants which belong to a certain group, those are known as grouped consonant or vargiya vyanjan, and those consonants that does not belong to any group, they are known as avargiya vyanjan. Okay, with this, let's dive back to a sheet. So all these consonants, they are known as grouped. They are known as grouped consonant or vargiya vyanjan. Why? Because if you see these consonants, so these five ka, kha, ga, gha, anga, they belong to a certain group that is known as ka varg. So they belong to a group that is known as ka varg. Similarly, you have cha, cha, ja, jha, nya. They belong to cha varg, another group. Then you have ta, tha, da, dha, ra. It belongs to ta varg. Okay. Then you have ta, tha, da, dha, na. They belong to ta varg. And lastly, pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. It belongs to pa varg. So these five groups and the consonants which fall under these groups, they are known as grouped consonant. Just remember this word because a lot of times when we do different rules like Sandhi rules and Samas rule, so a lot of time they refer to these consonant as grouped consonant. So just take a note of it. And then all the rest of the consonants, they are known as, okay, you may have guessed it, they are called as ungrouped. Or just simply add avargiya vyanjan that don't belong to any group. What are those? They are ya, ra, la, va, sha, sha, sa, ha. Okay. And these are all the consonants that we need right now. Okay. Now one thing, if you would have noticed, this ya, ra, la, va, they are called as semivowels. So why they are called as semivowels, I'll quickly explain to you. Because if you write E and then you write A, and you say these two vowels together, iya, iya. So what sound emits? The sound is similar to iya, iya, iya. And if you write U and then you write A, what sound emits? Ua, ua. You guessed it, it is va. And similarly with ra and va, la. That's why ya, ra, la, va, these are called as semi-vowels. They won't be referred to such when we are learning Sanskrit. It's just some, you can say, a piece of trivia that I wanted to share. So that's it. But anyways, the only important takeaway is these five, they are called as vargiya vyanjan or grouped consonant, and these rest of them are called as avargiya vyanjan or ungrouped consonant. Okay, and this covers our entire consonant. One more thing I'll add. All these last letters of the grouped consonant, this nga, nya, r, n, ma, these are known as nasal. These are known as nasal consonant or anunasik vyanjan. Why they are called nasal? Because you can guess it when you pronounce them. They have a bit of a nasal sound to them. Nga, nya, rna, na, ma. So they have a nasal sound to them. That's why these five letters are known as nasal consonant or anunasik vyanjan. Okay. Now I'm gonna point out few common mistakes that I used to do, and I just want to share it so that if you're doing the same, you can correct it. What is that? So we'll take these two consonants. One is na and the other is ra. A lot of people pronounce them exactly similar to each other. So they call it na and they also call it na. But this is not na, this is ra, ra. Your tongue has a bit of a backward roll when you say this letter. So if you'll pronounce it with me, it is ra, ra. So there is a difference between how they are pronounced. You have that Rudrashtakam first verse. namami shamishan nirvana rupam. So in that verse, there is this word nirvana. Okay. So you don't say this word as nirvana. You say this word as nirvana. Ra. So that is the difference between na and ra. Okay. Another mistake, or not mistake, but another thing that we can clarify, this letter. So as a Hindi native speaker, if I have a word like this, so I pronounce this word as pal. So I pronounce this letter as pa, pa. But in Sanskrit, this is pronounced as pha, pha. The sound should emit from your lips, pha, not fa, pha. Let me take this shlok. Okay. So if you can find, okay, we have this line, no? Uspuran mole kallolini charu ganga. Okay, this again is a verse from Rudrashtakam shloka. So this line, so you don't pronounce this line as Spuran Mauli. You pronounce this line as Spuran Mauli. Sphu, pha. So just be aware of this fact. Spuran Mauli kallolini charu ganga. Okay. Till now, you have a lot of similarity between other languages that share Devanagari script and Sanskrit. But Sanskrit have some special letters also. Those special letters are called ayogvaha. Ayogvaha. What are the most commonly used two special characters? And that are, first is visarga. What is visarga? So visarga is whenever we write something in Sanskrit, suppose I write balak, and then I put two dots, so this becomes balakah, and this two dot, this is known as visarga. Visarg, if you need to know it in English. Visarga. This. How to pronounce visarga? Now one common mistake some people do is they think that visarga is equivalent to ha, the letter ha, but it is not. Why? Because suppose I gave you this word rati, and then I add visarga to it, will you say ratiha? No, you don't pronounce it as ratiha, you pronounce it as ratihi. Ratihi. Balakah ratihi. So the visarga is just an extra expulsion of air. It is just an extra air that you let go after you complete the pronunciation of the word. Think of it like that. That just an extra air that you let go. So if you are saying rati and you encounter a visarga, so you just say ratihi. Ratihi. Just an extra air. Balak. So balakah. Okay. So the visarga is not ha. Just I wanted to make this point. So you have a visarga, and then okay, then what you have, anuswar. Okay, the anuswar, that is just the dot, the bindu, the dot. Anuswar we have in Hindi also. So you might have seen this word. Okay, so we take a common word, this. I'm sure you might be aware of this word. So this bindu is called as anuswar, anuswar. And anuswar simply represent the nasal sound, the nasal sound. So if you remember, you had 5 nasal consonant, right? Nga, nya, ra, na, ma. And then you have a symbol for it. And that symbol is anuswar. As simple as that. So you might guess by now that if they both are same thing, then I think I can replace one with another. And you are absolutely right. Why? Because again, I'll go back to this shloka. If you can see here, what is this? So this is charu ganga. This is charu ganga. And if you see this word, this is bhujanga. Bhujanga. Now why it is written as this or this? There is an explanation for this. So what we saw just now, let me write it here. So you have Ganga, right? But there, what we saw in the shloka, it was written as Ganga. Okay. if you'll see another shlok, it might also be written as Ganga. This. Don't get confused. They all are exactly same thing. Now there is something that I'm going to tell you about anuswar. As I said, anuswar represents a nasal sound, right? And you have 5 nasal consonant also that represent a nasal sound. So you can replace anuswar with nasal consonant. But the question is, there are 5 nasal consonant, right? So which nasal consonant I am going to replace the anuswar with? That is the question. So suppose here, Ganga, if I need to replace this anuswar, which nasal consonant out of ga, ya, ra, na, ma I should use? So the simple trick is, so suppose you have this word Ganga, just see which letter comes after anuswar. Here, ga. This comes after anuswar, right? And then find which nasal consonant, which anunasik vyanjan is in the same group as ga. So you have ga here and you have the anunasik consonant nga. So you replace it with this. That's why Ganga, as we saw earlier, it was written as this, Ganga. Simple. So if I give you another word, suppose I give you this word. So what is the consonant after anuswar? Pa. Okay. Where is pa? Pa is here. And which is the anunasik consonant of this group? You have ma. So if you want to replace this anuswar with a nasal consonant, you are going to replace it with ma, because they both belong to the same consonant group, pampa. You see, pampa. Okay, you might think that, okay, you said a lot of English words. You said too much. That if you encounter anuswar, you need to replace it with anusik vyanjan, nasal consonant. That see what letter comes after anuswar, then the same nasal consonant of that group should be replaced. Too much, too much. But there is a reason I'm telling you this. The reason is simple, because when you'll encounter Sanskrit text, a lot of time you will see something written as this. You see this? Bhujangaraj. You see this Bhujangaraj. Now, whenever you will encounter a nasal consonant, you won't freak out that how do I pronounce it with a word. You simply know that it represents a nasal sound, and what nasal sound it's going to represent. So it comes with ga Bhujangaraj. Simple as that. So you can just write this Bhujang. You can write this Bhujang simply as Bhujang. That's it. Simple. So I just wanted to make a point that you need to be aware. Don't get overwhelmed or don't freak out when you see such spellings written in a mantra or anything. That what is this? You see, in almost every shlok, you will find this. This is very popular shlok, right? Sarva Mangal Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike. You see how it is written. Sarva Mangal Mangalye. So this Mangal Mangalye. So don't confuse. It is just that anuswar, just that dot. Now I'm going to tell you something interesting. You remember I took one example when I was explaining anuswar, the very common word, this, and you have an anuswar here. Now you will ask me that you said that if you encounter an anuswar and you want to replace it with an anunasik consonant, you just find which consonant comes after anuswar and you replace it with the anunasik vyanjan or the nasal consonant of that same group, right? But sa, it does not belong to any group. Sa belongs to that ungrouped consonant, right? I told earlier, ungrouped consonant, avargiya vyanjan. Then which anunasik vyanjan or which nasal consonant should I replace it with? The answer is you don't replace it and you use the default sound of anuswar. But what is the default sound of anuswar? The default sound of anuswar is m, m, m. That's it. So, if you encounter this word, Sanskrit, which is in English written as Sanskrit, now you know the correct pronunciation of Sanskrit is Sanskrit. Sanskrit with a M. Sanskrit. Because this anuswar, this will be replaced by M. M. So this Sanskrit, it is wrong. It should be written as Sanskrit. See. So we have all been pronouncing this Sanskrit as Sanskrit only, and I still pronounce Sanskrit a lot of time as Sanskrit only. But the correct pronunciation of this word is Sanskrit. Sanskrit. Now don't ask me, if I knew this already, why did I name my channel Sanskrit Sopanam? Because I have a very good reason for it, and if you want to know the reason, you need to see the end of the video, okay? See, I'm new to this YouTube thing, no? So I'm learning all these dirty tricks to keep you hooked. Just go to the end of the video to find out why I named it Sanskrit Sopanam, not Sanskrit Sopanam. Okay, I'm learning. So I think a lot of information I already gave you. See, again, as I'm telling you this, a lot of you might already be aware of these things, but still it's good to refresh them, and it's good to know the proper logic of the thing, because once you know the proper logic of the thing, if you are making the mistake, you won't be repeating it at least. And then once you correct something, it goes a long way for anything. Okay, just let me see one thing. So I have covered, just let me quickly summarize. I have covered na and rna. Then I have covered, it is pha, not pa. Then I have covered, okay, this I have not covered. Okay, I'll quickly explain this also. Sha and sha. These two. A lot of people pronounce these two similarly. Sha and sha. But there's a difference, and that difference you might be able to hear when I say them. When I say this, I say it sha, sha. And when I say this, I say sha, sha. This has a bit more whistly sound, if you can relate. A bit more whistly sound, a bit more air expels out from your mouth. Your tongue, it curves a bit more than when you pronounce sha. So you pronounce sha, your tongue has a bit of a curvature, sha. And when you pronounce sha, your tongue has a lot more curvature, sha. A bit more whistly sound. So just that is a difference. Okay. Just good to know that they are not exactly the same thing. How it will affect? Again, a lot of things clear when they are in a proper context. Okay, so one more thing, one more symbol, this halant, this symbol. So if you observed when I was talking about the consonants, if we go up and we see the consonants, you will realize that all of these consonants have a slanted bar underneath them. Okay, what is this bar? This bar is known as halant. And what does this halant tell you? This halant simply tells you, so suppose I have a consonant and I write it like this. This simply tells you that this consonant is without a vowel. This consonant does not have a vowel right now. And if I am writing this ka without a halant, this means this consonant now has a vowel, and by default the vowel is a, this one. And if I am writing this, so you know that this consonant has another vowel, that is e, right? So this no. So just take a note of this. The symbol is called halant. And what does halant tell you? That this is without a vowel. So it has a very short sound. K. It is not ka because it is not combined with a yet. So it is just k, k, very short. So that is a use. Okay, with all this information, the section I really wanted to come with all this discussion is this varnvichhed. This varnvichhed. What does varnvichhed means? Viched basically means separation or breaking down. Breaking down. So varnvichhed simply means you are breaking down something into the individual letters, into the individual akshar. So suppose you take this word, a simple word, you take balak. Balak is a good word to show all the examples. Balak. Okay. So if I want to separate this word into its individual letters, I will write ba with a halant, because now I will write whatever vowel it is combined with. Then you have la again with a halant, and then you have a, Now this I won't be visible in this world, but it is understood that I is there. And then you have ka again with the a. This is simply varna viccheda. Breaking down a word into its individual letters, this is called as varna viccheda. Why this is important, and this is very important. This might look simple, but it is very important, because once you can break down any word into its individual letters, then you are never going to have a problem with in the pronunciation of even big words. And mind you, in Sanskrit you will encounter a lot of big words, because in Sanskrit we have rules like samas and sandhi, and what these rules do is they combine lot of words together to form a single word. Chatatavi galag jala pravaha pavitasthale, it is a single word because it is combined. And once you know how to break down a word into its individual letters, you are never going to face any problem with its pronunciation, because in your mind it will be very clear how the letters are arranged in a word and what comes after what comes before what. To demonstrate it, let me give you a simple example. We have this word, okay, and then we have this word. Now the symbol that you see, no, this symbol that you see, this and this, these, they both represent same thing. They both represent ra. They both represent ra. But if you break down this word, it comes as ga, then ra, and then the rest of the thing, am. And if you break this word, it comes down as ma, then you have ra, and then you have ga. So I hope you can figure out the difference, that whenever this symbol is there, it means there is a ra, but after this consonant, after the consonant it is attached to. And when this symbol comes, again it means ra, but it comes before the consonant it is attached to. And once you know this, you can always pronounce them correctly. So how do you pronounce this word then? You pronounce this as gram. Gram. First G comes, then R comes. First ga comes, then ra comes. Gram. And how do you pronounce this word? You pronounce as marg, because this means there is a ra before this consonant. So marg. Marg. So this is the reason why you should be aware of how these words split into their individual letters. You might be aware of this word, this letter. Okay, because when we write this word, we use this, or you might be aware of this word, right? This letter is a combination consonant. That this letter is also a consonant, but it is made of two consonants. What are those two consonants? Those consonants are ka and sha. It is made of this. And a lot of times when I've seen the pronunciation of this word, a lot of people pronounce this word as chama. They pronounce this word as chama. This chama. But this consonant and this consonant is not same. This is cha. Cha of chhatra. You have that word, no? Chhatra, student. So this is chhatra. This is kshama. Kshama. Because it is made of ka and sha. So it has a slight hint of ka and then sha. So it is kshama. This word is not kshatriya. It is kshatriya. Kshatriya. So this is the correct pronunciation of this word. And you will never forget the correct pronunciation of this letter and these words, because now you know that this letter ksha is made of ka and sha. So now you will always be clear. Okay, this is kshama. This is not chama. This is kshatriya. It is not kshatriya. It is kshatriya. That's it. So that is why this varna viccheda is so important. Again, a common mistake, but to be fair, this is quite tricky to pronounce also. You know this word, right? I don't know about you, but I always pronounce this letter as gya. 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 So this word for me was gyan, but the correct pronunciation of this word is jnana. Jnana. Why? Because if you split this word, if you split this letter, sorry, it is made of ja and nya. So you pronounce this as jnana, jnana. A bit of ja and a lot of nya, jnana. And this word this word does not pronounce as pragya. It is not pragya. It is prajna. Prajna. So it is a bit tricky to pronounce. I'll admit. Even I goof up a lot of times. But this is the correct pronunciation. So, and again, once you know this, that it has a nya in them, you can at least try to pronounce it right. And you have this. And then you also have one more combination consonant. We write this. Shriman, Shriman. This. As you can guess, this is made by Sha and Ra. Simple. Shri, Shriman. So this is that. Okay, let me open that shlok thing again. And let me see if I can. Okay. Varn viched or whatever exercise we did today. Why I wanted to touch it and why I wanted to start with this exact topic. Because when you encounter anything in Sanskrit, if you are not 100% sure, if you are not clear at least with how these letters are pronounced, how they split into their individual parts, and how the combination consonants like Kshatriya, Kshama, they are pronounced, then such big words becomes a problem to pronunciate. It becomes a very big problem to pronunciate. So if you encounter this, you have Tusharadri Sankash Gauram Gabhiram Manobhut Koti Prabhashri Shariram Sphuran Mauli Kallo Lini Charu Ganga Lasad Bhal Balendu Kanthe Bhujanga. Now you can pronounce it because you know the breakdown. Okay, seeing this, I realize I missed something. Okay, let me quickly take it. Okay, if I give you this word, you know this is pronounced as Buddhi. Now, a lot of people, I used to get confused that when this is the setting, that you have a bigger letter and then you have a smaller letter underneath it, which letter comes first? So, okay, let's break it down. So it is ba, then you have u, then you have, see, you have da, then you have dha, and then you have e. In the end, you have that swar e. So you see, the bigger letter, it comes first, and the smaller one, it came afterwards. So you pronounce it as buddhi. You say it the first, then you say dha. Da and dha are very similar to each other, so you won't get it. But what you saw in that shlok, no? Let me take that shlok. You see this? Lasad bhal balendu. This again, this verse is from Rudrashtakam shloka. Lasad bhal balendu. Let's take this word now. Lasad bhal. You have this word. Okay. If you break it down, it will become la, then sa, then da, then bha, then a, and then la. So you have lasad bhal, not lasabdhal. So always remember this thing because this confuses a lot of people. And if I remember correctly, when I was telling you the concept of anusvAra, I wrote this example, right? Ganga, and I told you that Ganga can be written as Ganga, but it can also be written as Ganga. And now you can relate that the bigger letter, it comes first. So the bigger letter nga, it came first, and then that smaller letter, it came afterwards. So it is pronounced as Ganga, and it can be written as this also, it can be written as this also, it can be written as this also. So whenever you encounter anything like this, don't get confused. A very common word, I'll give you example. This way. It is a bit tricky to write. Okay, I'll try it again. Actually, this pen, no. I'm very new to this pen and that trackpad. So whenever I do such things, whenever my writing is a mess, please forgive me. I'm getting used to this this pen. Okay. My actual handwriting is also very bad. And with this pen, it is even worse. And then you have this. So how you will break it? Now this slant, you know, right? This is ra, which comes after the consonant. So we are clear till here. And then you have of course. And then you have the bigger letter. The bigger letter here is ha. And then you have a smaller ma, a very smaller ma. So that ma will come afterwards, right? And that's why you pronounce it as Brahm. You have a H before ma, Brahm. So this is how it is written. So because you will get, because this is the way you will find it written in actual Sanskrit text and everything. So don't get confused. Now pronunciation alone still takes time, because if you want to see how difficult it is, try pronouncing French. I don't get it, because the kind of roll your tongue has to do. So it takes time. I agree. So even after knowing all these rules, it will take you some time to pronounce an actual Sanskrit shloka in a flow, but at least you know the logic behind it. So you have this Sarva Mangal Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanya Trembake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Okay, very beautiful. We got another thing. Okay, I actually wanted to touch few more concepts, but I think this video is already gone too long. So maybe the next thing, I'll make a second part of the same video. I'll make a second part and we'll quickly touch up on those things, word categories, the noun, the adjective, because in Sanskrit it is a bit different than what you have in English. So okay, we'll do it in the next video, no problem. So what I was saying, okay, this, you see this symbol, no? This is not S. This is not S hidden between Sanskrit. This is another Sanskrit symbol. It is known as avagraha. Sorry, it is known as avagraha. Okay, whenever you are encountering this symbol avagraha, for now just ignore it. Just pronounce the entire word as if this symbol wasn't even there. So namostute, namostute. Just forget about it. What it is, how it is used, what is the significance, everything later. Okay, in its own time. So Narayani. It is not Narayani. It is Narayani. Sharanya. Okay. तुषाराद्रि संकाश गौरम गभीरम मनोभूत कोटि प्रभाषी शरीरम स्फुरन मौलि कल्लोलिनी चारुगंगा लसद्भाल बालेन्दु कंठे भुजंगा. And this is from Shivatandam Stotram. सहस्त्रलोचन प्रभृत्य शेष लेख शेखर प्रसून धूलि धोरणी विधूस रांग्रि पीठभू भुजंग राजमालया निबद्ध जाट जूट का श्रिय चिराय जायताम चकोर बंधु शेखर. It has a beautiful meaning behind it, but for some other day. Okay, so yeah, I think I've covered the letters and words in Sanskrit. The video it got a bit longer than I was anticipating, but okay, when we are learning, like, it is a journey, right? In the next part 2 of the same video, I'll quickly touch up the basic 5 word categories that we encounter in Sanskrit, and after that we will take the most beautiful concept in Sanskrit, word case, that is vibhakti, and like that will give you some juice. So I hope it was worth your time, and we'll meet again soon. Vayam punah milamaha. Dhanyavad.